Welcome back. You're still watching The Globe on the SABC News channel. And we continue to get some reaction on the further restrictions that have been announced this evening by President Cyril Ramaphosa. And I'm now joined by Black Business Council President Sandile Zungu. Thanks so much indeed for joining us. Welcome to the program. Your initial thoughts about what you heard from the President earlier tonight?
Thank you for having me here, Peter. The President had to make this call, which is very tough. It's limiting on people's liberties at this critical juncture when we should be really having festivities. But it is absolutely essential that matters of public health must trump all other considerations. We are faced with an absolutely severe crisis. The numbers are climbing up, and we're counting names and families which are being wiped out by this coronavirus and its variant. So we welcome the President's remarks and various restrictions that we imposed. They were absolutely critical. We are very much pleased that the matter of livelihoods still continue to reign supreme. That sacrifices have got to be made, but we cannot afford to destroy the economy in the process.
Talking about destroying the economy, there will be some pain for business. Do you think that this is something that's striking, the right balance given the circumstances?
Well, the sacrifices are absolutely necessary. You can see the social media platforms are flooded with videos and images of people being outrightly irresponsible in the face of a pandemic. So when you restrict alcohol sale, for example, it will affect small business. It will affect that sector. But what can be done? Restaurants, again, the serious livelihood for mostly unskilled people. It will be affected, but the restrictions are not as severe as they were in lockdown level 5. So the impositions by the President, are quite necessary. And the pain that will be taken by business is understandable. There will be further sacrifices required from government, from business, as the President outlined. And I think by and large, business is still keen and continues ready to play its part. When you talk about the rolling out of vaccines on a mass scale, what we call population, vaccination, or herd vaccination or immunization, there will be enormous resources required from all and sundry, including the private sector. We stand ready to play our part as and when details are made available. You'll discover that the private sector will have played its part.
Sadly, in these kind of scenarios, it's the smaller businesses, the informal traders that tend to be affected disproportionately in these times. How can we help and cushion this blow?
Well, the best form of response would be us to adhere to non-pharmaceutical measures, social distancing, sanitization, wearing of masks religiously. Now there's even a stick which makes it a criminal offense to not wear masks because there is empirical evidence that the spread of this virus is when such observance is not taken seriously. So that is what is needed first and foremost. And the next thing that needs to happen is that we need to appreciate that it's not going to be a permanent situation. After a couple of days, 14 days, as what the President has indicated, there will probably be a review of the situation. And if there's been an improvement, and if the curve flattens and there's an improvement in hotspots, surely it's in the best interest of everyone that the blow that will have been meted out on small businesses is alleviated through relaxation. Hopefully it can happen sooner, but if it doesn't happen sooner, I think all of us need to take it in the chin that some sacrifices are absolutely necessary. Otherwise, not only are we going to have no economy because there'll be an unhealthy workforce, but in actual fact, we'll count body bags full of our own family members and relatives. So we need to stop the bloodletting, as it were.
You talk about sacrifices, and I think everybody understands that, but there are businesses that were already marginal going into COVID-19, and they are disappearing and they will never come back. Is there room perhaps for government to think about more relief? I know they've been phasing out the relief that's been given out to date, but this is now a new round of difficulty for the country. Could there be room for government perhaps to try and find money to carry on with this help?
Well, there's no question about it that the loan guarantee scheme that National Treasury conceptualized and which was to be rolled out by commercial banks did not achieve the efficacy that was envisaged. I doubt that the entire 200 billion rands was rolled out. So there's a bit of leg room there. It's got to be an improvement, and there's got to be a deliberate intention that those businesses which were severely affected, especially in the SMME sector, need to be prioritized. So there's a bit of scope for improvement in that space. But I suspect that there is general lethargy, maybe fatigue right round, that maybe as the economy has now by and large opened up, and that the need for newer measures becomes limited. We need to improve on what is already in place. Maybe there's a need to continuously look at the tests. This scheme, which has been hugely successful by the UIF, to limit the damage to the livelihoods. And more than that, there's got to be a more systemic focus on SMMEs, which a priority predates COVID-19. Maybe there's got to be a renewed vigor on prioritizing towards SMME sector, because indeed COVID-19 has been an absolute blow to that sector.
All right, Mr. Zungu, that's where we'll leave it. Thank you so much indeed for joining us on the program. That was the Black Business Council President, Sandile Zungu. We'll have more for you on The Globe at the top of the hour. Stay with us.